In this video, I want to show you guys how I scan for small cap stocks and my exact routine that I go through to plan out my strategy for the day in the small cap penny stock sector. So first thing I like to do is check out the SPY, which is essentially a measure of how the economy is doing. So obviously the economy has been in a downtrend the past few weeks due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but I just want to get an idea of how the economy is doing today. So I'm just looking at the SPY here. I don't see anything too crazy. So if I'll see a huge decline, obviously we've had a couple of these in the past few weeks. I would be a little bit more cautious, and perhaps I set some alerts on this chart to let me know that there's a potential halt coming. But I just want to get an idea of how the overall economy is doing. Um, this is a nice way to get started for the day. So the next part is the scanning portion. So what I like to do is to go into the scanning settings here. I like to scan under last 30 cents to about $12. This is essentially the price that you're looking for. So between 30 cents and $12 is appropriate price range for me. If you have a smaller account, you might want to bring this down a little bit to $5 or $6. It really depends, but this is more or less a good price range to aim for. The next parameter you want to scan for is volume. Extremely important. You want to scan for minimum 300,000 pre-market. You'll see that this volume gets much bigger once the market opens, but you want to make sure that you're looking for stocks that other traders are looking at. A stock cannot move without volume. Okay, so you want to be looking for minimum 300,000. So once you have that in place, you're going to hit scan. You want to sort it by ascending symbol, and you want to show 2000. Okay. So once you have your parameters in and you hit scan, you want to sort this according to mark percent change. What that means is it's going to spit out the stocks that have been moving the most pre-market. So you'll just simply hit this wheel over here and you'll customize this and you'll add percent change to this search here. Okay. So once you have that all in place, you'll have a list of stocks that meet your criteria that are moving very hot pre-market, right? So just looking at this here, I see MBRX moving 143% pre-market. It's very high. Let's take a look at the news over here. So you can just check the news tab over here in Thinkorswim, type in MBRX, and what I see here right off the bat, very positive news. Molecular and Biotech says independent research found 2-deoxy-D-glucose to reduce replication of SARS-CoV-2 by 100% in vitro testing. So obviously very good news. Any stock these days that's even mentioning COVID-19 has been running very hot in the morning. So this is definitely a stock that I will be trading today. So once you find out that it has a positive news catalyst, it fits your criteria, you do want to take a look at the float. So the float is going to tell you also how hot it's going to move. So you can just go to a website like FinViz and just type in the ticker. So just Google it, FinViz MBRX. So you just want to go down to shares float. Okay, so we see here as 46 million float. It's not the best float. You want to usually look for something under 10 million. I like to trade stocks under 20 million float. Those will allow you to, those will be moving the most, right? If you have a very high float, float is essentially the outstanding shares a company has. if you have a very high float, it's not going to move a lot, right? So and also on Thinkorswim, if you customize this according to shares outstanding, you can also determine the float roughly. So the outstanding shares is pretty close to the float, but if you want to be accurate, just check FinViz. So usually, once the market opens, the volume will increase, and I like to trade stocks with what's called a high float rotation. So all a float rotation is the volume of the stock divided by the float, the outstanding shares. So once the stock opens up, it could be trading at 150 million, and which is very, very high and unlikely, but if it does, in that case you'd have a float rotation of about 3. So essentially when you find a stock with a good float rotation between 3 and 6, anything around that range, that stock will be generally very, very bullish. Okay, so this stock hits almost everything on my checklist. Very good volume, percent change, positive news catalyst. It doesn't have a very good float, but with the news being so hot and it moving so much pre-market, this is a very, very good candidate today. So I'm going to immediately go into my chart, MBRX, and what I like to do is clear my old drawing set. And I like to look at the daily chart for this stock. And I like to go to chart type and go to line. So the first thing I'm going to do to conduct my analysis on this stock is I'm going to mark out levels of previous resistance on the daily chart, okay? So looking at MBRX here, we see that it has this huge spike here. So I'm going to mark that off. So obviously this is a level that the market has reacted to. It acted as resistance, and a lot of sellers here jumped into MBRX on last year, the 22nd. Okay, so this is a key level you'll look to be broken or tested throughout the day. Another level I see here, the 134 level, so I'm going to mark this off right over here. Not as significant, but nevertheless, still a decent level to look at here, and looks like here there was quite a bit of volume. So okay, so these are the major levels that I see. I also just want to look at the 5-minute chart real quick. So it looks like this stock just really shot up today. Okay, so now you can go into the daily chart and you can turn on your candles and mark out your level of previous resistance. Okay, so my style of trading, I look for this stock to have a level of broken resistance pre-market, and I will look to enter that stock off a dip when it tests that resistance as new support. So this is essentially all I do with the stocks this morning. I like to mark out the resistance levels. Once the market opens, these will be key levels that I will look to be broken, and from here I just sit back and wait for these levels to be tested. So once again, I just go over the SPY really quickly in the morning. I scan for stocks with high volume, suitable price range for my account size, and very important, I like to check that the stock has a catalyst behind it. Okay, so once you have that in place, you can begin scanning, marking out support and resistance levels for this stock, and you're pretty much set and ready to go. Okay, so if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. and check out my website, theorytrading.com. I'm going to be starting up a chat room very soon. So if you're interested in that, just check out my website. Feel free to post a comment below if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.